Hello and welcome back to Asia Now, where I bring you guys the top headlines from around the Philippines, Thailand, and the rest of Asia. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll tell you about drunken brawl between expats leads to a fatal blow. Philippines president signs a law imposing 12% VAT tax on foreign digital services. A Chinese man arrested at the Naya International Airport. Southeast Asia's first Disney store opens in the Philippines. Plus much more, beginning with our favorite USD to peso exchange rate. Right now, $1 equal to 56.2. So the USD gaining a little bit more momentum against the peso. Speaking of which, I'm going to tell you guys a bit about the Thai baht. Some very interesting news later on in the show. Here's our main story. A 29-year-old British tourist has been charged for delivering a fatal punch to his 58-year-old Australian friend during a drunken argument outside a hotel in Pattaya, Thailand. The punch caused the Australian man to hit his head on the pavement and was pronounced not alive at the hospital despite efforts from medics. The police have video footage and witness testimony confirming the incident. The British suspect denies the charges and is waiting legal proceedings, while authorities are waiting the autopsy results to determine if the victim was also intoxicated. The motive for the altercation remains unclear, but it's suspected that alcohol was a big factor. A sad story, a tragedy. From what I understand, this gentleman actually just bought a home in Australia for almost $500,000 Australian dollars. So it looked like he was really trying to enjoy his life. But unfortunately, things like this do happen, especially in Pattaya, especially when alcohol is involved. It's not the first time. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the last time. One thing I want to mention, I don't want to point blame, but I did work in as like a kitchen supervisor, restaurant manager, also a casino manager, and oftentimes I was called upon to go ahead and examine patrons if they're intoxicated to stop them service. Now, I don't drink personally, so I don't really know what the effects of alcohol, but from what I understand as a grown man, it obviously does alter your state of thinking. So I'm wondering if Pattaya bartenders, I don't want to assume or point fingers, or anywhere in Thailand, are they like taught to cut people off? I have no idea. If you guys are drinkers, if you've been to Thailand, do you know if the bartender actually cuts you off service if you get too intoxicated? Now, I don't want to presume, but I just assume it may not be taken as seriously as Ontario, Canada's Alcohol and Gaming Commission's like protocols that went to cut people off. But my point is, there should be something, right? I'd assume there's got to be some kind of training, some kind of responsibility to stop people from like over drinking, because it is poison if you drink too much of it. Next up in the Philippines, the president signed an act which imposes a 12% value-added tax, VAT, on digital service providers like online platforms and digital media. This aims to level the playing field between local and foreign businesses while generating an estimated 105 billion pesos over the next 5 years. The revenue will help build classrooms, health centers, and farm-to-market roads. The law excludes education-related services, and part of the revenue will support the creative industries. Marcos reassured that the tax won't hinder innovation and expects compliance from DSPs, the digital service providers. Sounds like good news, right? I understand. But one thing that some locals pointed out was this might just simply get passed down to the consumer, right? So services like YouTube, Netflix, all these places, they'll simply just probably jack up the price for your monthly membership. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know so far, what do you think of the brawl that happened in Pattaya? And what do you think of this 12% VAT against foreign companies, digital service providers? Staying in the Philippines, the Bureau of Immigration intercepted a 51-year-old Chinese man, Du Shizhong, at Naya Terminal 1 on September 19th as he attempted to board a flight to China. Du, wanted for involvement in trafficking and prostitution, was arrested and taken to the BI detention facility. He faces deportation following a 2022 order declaring him an undesirable alien. Du had been charged with being undocumented and working for an establishment involved in such activities. He will remain in detention until his deportation is completed. Staying with illegal activities in China, the Bureau of Immigration has announced there will be no extension for the October 15 deadlines of Philippines offshore gaming operators, POGO, workers to voluntarily downgrade their visas. Visa downgrading allows foreign nationals to change from the work visa to a temporary visitor visa, giving them 59 days to legally remain in the Philippines while wrapping up their affairs. This aligns with the president's order for POGO workers to leave by the end of 2024. Workers who fail to comply will face deportation and be blacklisted. A BI task force has been assigned to go ahead and process and expedite these POGO workers' visas. One thing I'm curious about is if they can go ahead and downgrade from a working visa to simply a tourist visa, can they simply just extend that visa and stay longer and longer? Or are they required to leave within 60 days? So I'm curious to see where this leads. From my understanding, over half of them have already left the Philippines over 3,000 of these POGO workers have already exited the country. Next up, the first Disney store in Southeast Asia has opened in the Philippines, specifically at the SM Mall of Asia in Pasay City. The store aims to bring the unique experience and products that Disney fans have come to associate with the Disney stores around the world. Shoppers can find a wide range of authentic and high-quality merchandise, including toys, plush, apparel, costumes, homeware, and collectibles from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. The store has featured photo spots and sculptures of popular Disney characters. Some unique items available at the store include Big Feet plush, whatever that is, Disney animators, dolls, costumes, and drinkware with sculpted designs. I guess this is good for kids. I don't have any kids. I don't know much about Disney, except for the fact that I can no longer watch their movies. Basically, it's gone way too woke. Everything I'm watching seems to be with an agenda. I don't like that. When I was a kid growing up, Disney movies were like amazing. Watching a Disney movie was like a whole experience. Everything seemed just for a story. Now it seems like every single person needs to be included, and just men are becoming completely useless in these movies. I don't want to get into all that, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of Disney anymore, but I guess for kids, it doesn't really matter. Hopefully, I feel like they probably have some kind of stuff. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Let's go back to Thailand. Something that interested me was the Bank of Thailand has taken steps to manage the value of the baht against the US dollar, aiming to keep its movement aligned with other regional currencies. The central bank's effort have boosted international reserves, which rose 235 billion in August. While the baht's rapid strengthening may impact export revenues, it is unlikely to hurt the tourism sector, as tourists from key markets like China, Japan, and Malaysia benefit from the stronger currencies. Despite a slight dip in foreign tourist numbers in August, spending has remained steady, and an increase in visitors is expected in September. So what does all that mean? Basically, the bank has intervened to stop the strengthening of the Thai baht. For example, 2 years ago, 2022, when I was in Thailand, $1 got me 38 baht in return. And 38 baht could get you a whole bunch of stuff in Thailand, right? But now it's gone to 32 baht, $1 equal to just 32 baht. And I've seen a steady decline in getting baht back for USD. So now the bank is like, hey, let's slow this down. Kind of funny how that works. I'm not an economist. I have no idea how this works, but I never thought I would see the day where a bank stops the strengthening of the currency. This is because obviously Thailand heavily relies on tourism and its exports, right? Less and less people are going to be interested in coming to a country where the dollar or euro or whatever doesn't go far. But luckily for the Thailand country, most of the people coming from China and Malaysia and Japan, which also has their currency strengthening. So it really doesn't make much of a difference for those individuals. But for us Canadian mandem, Americandom, it's not that good compared to 2 years ago where $1 got you 38 baht. Now $1 is only 32 baht. Next up, Carlos Yolo, the two-time Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics, has been inducted into the Philippines Navy Reserve Force with the rank of Petty Officer First Class. Yolo expressed pride in wearing the Navy uniform and being enlisted in the Philippines Navy Reserve Force. The Navy leadership expressed confidence in Yolo's commitment to its new role as reservists. He looks great in that uniform. I can't really say the same with some of his other fashion choices, but then again, that's coming from a guy that's always in a t-shirt and shorts, all jokes aside. But that's great to promote the Philippines Navy, of course, especially with what's going on with China and the ocean and all that. So an excellent image, I think, from Carlos Yulo. Next up, 10 members of the Aegis Juris Fraternity were convicted of 2017 hazing death of University of Santo Tomas law student Mauricio Atio Castillo III. The Manila court sentenced them to 20 to 40 years in prison and ordered them to pay fines and damages. The conviction follows years of investigations and a Senate inquiry. The case also highlighted the anti-hazing law of 2018, which introduced tougher penalties for hazing-related crimes. Another tragedy, growing up in school, I was pretty popular, and sometimes I would pick on kids, to be honest, completely, but it wasn't from like a place of hatred, and never from to this level, obviously. It was just, I thought at the time, just poking fun at people, having a good time. I do think it's important for men to not just men, people to kind of grow a spine, become stronger, but there's a limit. And of course, things like this, I'm not really sure about the details, but anytime where someone's life getting taken away from hazing, that's obviously way too much. And I'm glad that the Philippines gone ahead and made a new law that toughens the penalties on people like that. And personally, going back, I'll definitely have changed some of the ways I behave for sure. At the time, I thought it was funny or cool, but obviously it is not. And now it's time for a segment called Yesterday Today, where I read some of the most popular comments regarding our previous video. Blue Reader says, I'm glad the Thai authorities are arresting people when they break the law. I have no desire to go to Phuket, but I feel for the Thai families who have lived there for generations. It must be disheartening for them to see so many drunken, disrespectful foreigners. I completely agree. This is obviously regarding so many people in Phuket misbehaving. Sinful says, fees tripled overnight. Wow, the drive to fly out of Clark is looking much better, a better airport and much more efficient. Above it all says, do not screw around in foreign countries. He's lucky he got out of the country with no charges. Ray Ray says, the Aussie is lucky he didn't get charged. And Roy says, shameless, privileged behavior, despicable. I couldn't agree more. You gotta be an ambassador of your country when you travel. I'm a big supporter of behaving, especially in foreign countries. I mean, do what you want in your private residence, in your home, all that stuff. That's completely basically do whatever you want. But in public, and that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, but really motivates me to make these videos. Share your comments down below regarding any of the topics I covered today, whether you agree, disagree, anything at all. Hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. I think as a